Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got some breaking news coming out here for you and I'm going to bring you an update on what's going on in Ukraine. So, as many of you probably know if you follow this channel, Ukraine has come under attack quite a bit just over the last week. They've been bombarded here by missiles and drones like crazy. And Russia's really been ramping up their attacks inside of Ukraine ever since that terrorist attack happened at the Crocus City Hall near Moscow just about a week ago. So Ukraine came under a massive bombardment again last night, and it looks like Russia was targeting their energy and fuel sector, just like what we've been seeing Ukraine doing. So they got hit hard. There was at least 99 missiles and drones that were fired overnight last night. Apparently, Ukraine shot down 84 of them. Majority of them were shot down through air defense systems, but we did have lots of thermal and hydroelectric power plants that were hit by missiles. So Ukraine is introducing blackouts in three regions, three out of four that were hit. There were four regions that were targeted, and this was in eastern and central Ukraine. So I put on the screen here, they announced Friday it was introducing emergency blackouts in three regions and urged consumers to limit electricity use after targeted Russian strikes damaged several power plants. So, yeah, lots of power plants were targeted here and severely hit, okay? So, this definitely is putting a major blow to their energy sector inside of Ukraine. And we've got several officials, along with Zelensky, calling for more aid again, and also air defense systems for Ukraine as they're getting bombarded so heavily here by the Russian military. So I've got some information we're going to go over here in an article from NDT News. Okay, NDTV, excuse me. Blackout hit three Ukrainian regions after Russia fires missiles overnight. It says Moscow has stepped up aerial bombardment of Ukraine in recent weeks, targeting energy infrastructure in response to deadly Ukrainian assaults on Russia's border regions. So let's read about this. Ukraine said on Friday it had imposed emergency blackouts on three regions after Russia fired dozens of missiles and drones on its power stations overnight. Moscow has stepped up its aerial bombardment of Ukraine in recent weeks, targeting energy infrastructure in response to deadly Ukrainian assaults on Russia's border regions. National grid operator Ukrenergo said its dispatch center was forced to apply emergency blackout schedules in the regions of Dnipropetrovsk, Zaporizhia, and Kirovograd until the evening. Restrictions were already in place in the major cities of Kharkiv and Kryvyi Rih following a Russian strike last week. Consumers in other regions are asked to use electricity sparingly and consciously, Ukrenergo said. The attacks come at a difficult time for Ukraine, which is facing critical shortages of air defenses to protect its skies and ammunition to defend the front lines. Ukraine's foreign ministry said that the air attacks were becoming more frequent and massive, posing an extreme threat, to Ukraine's energy security. So, like I said, this has been a major problem here for Ukraine over the last week, and it really seems like Russia's obviously getting payback on Ukraine for these drone strikes on dozens and dozens of oil facilities inside of Russia, and also their energy infrastructure has been getting hit too. So they're obviously attacking back in regards to this, but it really makes me wonder if Russia's doing this on purpose, because they've talked a lot about creating a buffer zone inside of Ukraine, and in order to do that, they would have to get majority of the populations, like the civilian areas, get them evacuated. And a quick way to do that would be to knock out the energy. Okay, if their energy infrastructure was knocked out in Ukraine, they would be forced to evacuate these people from these areas, and that would make it easier for Russia to move forward and attack the eastern side and move into more central Ukraine. Ukraine needs more air defense systems to secure critical infrastructure and protect the population, Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal said in a renewed plea to Kiev's Western allies. The Russian Defense Ministry acknowledged it had used long-range air, sea, and land-based precision weapons to target energy facilities, but said the latter were being used by Ukraine's armed forces. Both sides accused each other of attacking civilian areas deep behind enemy lines on Friday. A Russian drone killed a 39-year-old man and wounded another person near Ukraine's southeastern city of Nikopol, while an air attack on Kamyansk, further north, injured 5 people, including a child, authorities in Ukraine said. Another 50-year-old man, a farmer, was found dead in a southern region of Kherson, its Ukrainian governor said, apparently after the tractor he was operating hit a mine. Oh no. In Russia, a Ukrainian drone crashed into an apartment building in the border city of Belgorod, killing a man and wounding 2 others. The region's governor, Vyacheslav Gladkov, said. So obviously, what we're seeing here is Ukraine and Russia attacking each other back and forth. There's been lots and lots of reports of Ukraine launching dozens of drones into the Belgorod region, just literally targeting civilians, basically hitting buildings inside of Belgorod. They've been under massive bombardment, also by missiles as well. Use electricity sparingly. Russia has battered Ukrainian energy infrastructure throughout the war, now in its 3rd year. President Vladimir Zelensky has called the attacks energy terrorism, and the United Nations has described them as illegal. The Air Force said Moscow had targeted Ukraine's fuel and energy sector with 99 missiles and drones overnight, 84 of which were shot down. Russian missiles hit thermal and hydroelectric power plants, Ukrenergo said. One of the country's main energy providers, DTEK, said 3 thermal power stations had been attacked in the barrage, leaving facilities severely damaged. After the attack, the power engineers promptly started to deal with the consequences, the company said in a statement online, adding that 1 employee had been wounded. So one thing I want to note here too is, what if Ukraine can't take much more of these hits here? Let's say the energy really gets knocked out and it gets damaged so badly that there's no power for weeks or maybe even months, okay? These people won't be able to stay in these areas for very long if they really get heavily bombarded here. And obviously, many cities like Kharkiv and near like Zaporizhia, anywhere on like the eastern or northeastern side of Ukraine has been heavily bombarded here by Russian attacks. And at some point, are they going to have to evacuate these people from these regions because they're coming under attack so much? And it's happening more frequently now than I've really seen it happen before. So it says here, the Energy Ministry said the attack damaged power infrastructure in 4 regions across central and western Ukraine, causing power cuts and disrupting train traffic. On the front lines, Ukraine has been forced into a defensive footing in the past few months, struggling with ammunition shortages amid delays to a $60 billion aid package from the United States. Its Armed Forces Commander, Oleksandr Syrsky, said on Friday the situation in some areas of the battlefield was tense. The Russian occupiers continue to increase their efforts and have a numerical advantage in personnel, he said. In addition, the enemy is conducting heavy artillery and mortar fire, he added. Just a few days ago, the enemy's advantage in terms of ammunition fired was about 6-1. So obviously the Russians are firing a lot more ammunition, artillery, things like that, than the Ukrainians are able to at this time. And I notice it says right here too, the Russian occupiers continue to increase their efforts and have a numerical advantage in personnel. Interesting that Oleksandr Syrsky, the commander of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, said that, because I just saw an article that just came out in the last day or two that literally said that Ukraine was not really needing to up their deployment of more troops. Okay, basically conscripting more people. That they were not needing to do that at this time. Okay, well, if they're not needing to do that, then why are they saying here that Russia has a clear numerical advantage in terms of troop size? Interesting that they're saying that. You would think that if that were to be the case coming from the commander, wouldn't they want to conscript more people and deploy more to the front line? You would think that would be the case, right? But I don't know. I thought that was interesting that they put that here in this article, assuming that Alexander said that. So, I just wanted to give you the latest update here on what's going on in Ukraine. So they got hit heavily yesterday, and this is one of many attacks that have happened here over the last week. And we just had reports just a week ago that the Dnipro hydroelectric power plant got hit by a missile heavily and was basically knocked out of commission. Okay, so eastern side of Ukraine really doesn't have a lot of energy right now due to all these attacks, and that's why they're having a call for blackouts in multiple regions. And these are probably hundreds of thousands of people that are affected by these blackouts. So this is a major, major problem for Ukraine. And if Russia keeps up these attacks, this is going to make it very difficult for Ukraine to maintain their energy infrastructure, especially on the eastern side of the country. And like I said, this could be the beginning of major evacuations here on the eastern side of Ukraine if they can't get proper protection, because obviously they need Patriot missiles, they need air defense right now, and they don't have a lot of that, and they're really short on ammunition. So this situation over here is continuing to spiral out of control in Ukraine, and especially on the eastern side of the country, where we may start seeing massive evacuations happening here on the eastern side if things really start to get bad. So let me know what you think in terms of this war in Ukraine and how things are looking for them. Share your thoughts and concerns and opinions down below. If you got something out of this video, please smash the like button. And also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell, that way YouTube can notify you. And with that, I hope y'all have a great day. Thanks so much for tuning in for this update. Everybody take care, and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.